Yes, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Chopping Up with Charms, your FPL guide for the 25-26 season. And this is the final episode before the Premier League campaign kicks off today. Liverpool versus Bournemouth. I will have a couple of Liverpool players, but before we get into it, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to comment your team, who you like in my team, who you got in yours, and join the FPL League for the Two Blues. If you win it, you'll get a prize. We're doing a prize this season yet. Budget's gone up, baby boys. So don't forget to slap yourself into that. But today's video, I'm going to be going over my final team. Before we jump in, there's been a couple of changes, a couple of things that have differed since that first video 2 weeks ago. We've also seen a little bit more football from some of these players, some a little bit more confident in my picks. So we'll start right at the very top. And you see that Kelleher, brethren, gets him off. He suffered with a knock for Brentford, and he's also looks like he's not going to be playing with the first game. He didn't play his last game in pre-season, so I've made the Iwit replacement, and I'm bringing in Bird Leno. That's a Premier League proven goalkeeper with a strong Fulham side. They're not going to have the easiest game to start off with Brighton, but I reckon there's a potential clean sheet. If not, there's one goal in that. You know, I can't see him conceding more than one goal. To be fair, a hungry Brighton side, but we got João Pedro, haven't we? So it's not like they're going to be using him to bag goals. And the other one I've got is Petrovic, but I'm not going to use him just yet. Not quite. They've got Liverpool first week, as I said, Bournemouth. And I think that later on today, if you're seeing this after the game, I'm sorry if he's been pegged. Or if he's had a clean sheet, I also apologise because he's going on my bench. But yeah, I've got Bird Leno for the first week. This is a bit more of like a future-proof. I wouldn't be mad at Matt Sells. I think Sells has got a good run to go early. But that's for the Two Blues. Yeah, for the Two Blues team. But not my personal one, which is what I'm here to talk about. My back line has changed tremendously. Ola Aina, too many people all over him. I don't like it. I've had to replace it for a differential. A player who I spoke about last week in my differentials videos. That's De Kuiper. I reckon the attacking returns for Brighton, particularly at the back, are going to be good. And when I'm talking about, you know, I can't see many goals against Bird Leno, I can't really see many goals in that match. And if there isn't, I'm going to be doubling up because I've got Fulham goalkeeper and I've got a Brighton defender. And I think that's a nice little pro tip for the inside. I've also made Jeremy Frimpong do one, and I've got Gabriel in there instead. My logic behind that is I don't know if Man United are going to get kicking straight off the rip. I don't know if Benjamin Sesko is going to be able to adjust immediately, and obviously with that front three being completely brand new, although I do see potential for it, and you'll see that in my Premier League video, we need to stop plugging other videos at it. But I reckon Gabriel will have a good game. You know, I reckon there's a clean sheet in there potentially against Manchester United. I also know Gabriel is a problem off of set pieces, and he's one of the better centre-backs in the league, so he is a player that you can put in your club and not need to worry about getting rid of for a couple of weeks. Unlike Wan-Bissaka, who's still in there, I did mention it last time, it is sort of like a week one option, if you will. I know he's got a couple of dodgy games coming up top and coming up after this. I know it's the same for West Ham, but he's not my only West Ham player in this team anymore. Oh, I bet you can't wait to find out who that is. But Cucurella is still in there, as you can imagine. I'm not going anywhere with Mark Cucurella. I think he's a fantastic fullback, and unless something crazy happens at Chelsea where we need a new left back, or we started to play Hato in at left back when he's the other side normally, I'd be pretty shocked. I'd be pretty hard pressed. But Cucurella, in my opinion, is world class. So if I can get a world class centre back at 6 million, I'm going to do it every single day of the week. Like I said last week, Mo Salah, no clue how he's in midfielder. Never seen this guy play midfield in my life. He's a left winger. He's a right winger. He's a striker. He's anything in and around that. Particularly operating off that right flank as of last season. I think he's going to pick up many, many goals. And I think Bournemouth is a real good place for him to do it. So he's going to be my captain for the first week. In the middle, I'm still going to have Elliot Anderson. I still like that pick. Maybe that's my differentials video. Anyways, listen, I put you onto Elliot Anderson. Don't forget, I put you onto Elliot Anderson. Everyone's got him, and he's only 5%. It doesn't even make any sense. Everyone's talking about having this guy in their team on the FPL guides and all of these recommended picks. But I don't see anyone with him. I think he's going to be a great pick for me. And I've bit the fucking bullet. I've gone and done it. And it's kind of the reason why Frimpong's out of this team. Because I was trying to look for a player who I was been impressed with in pre-season. And I watched that Community Shield game, and I kind of bought into the hype on Florian Wirtz. So he's going to be the final player in my attack. And to be honest, I don't think he's actually badly priced. I think it's around 8.59 million mark. And I think he can pay your money back. He looks like he's not De Bruyne, but he looks like he's a De Bruyne-esque. And when the Premier League's missing these types of players, when one slots back in, there's always room for them to pop. And I reckon this is a good player to get in your FPL. A lot of people I trust have gone with Florian Wirtz as well. And no, I'm not catting picks by any stretch. I just think he's a great player, and I thought he had a good game in a game that they lost. And you can always be impressed with players when they look good, even during a loss. And the number one component of that is my first striker on the list, which is Hugo Ekitike. What a player he is. I was excited for him in the Premier League. I didn't realise he had the calibre that he has at the minute. Those little touches, those flicks. I see him getting substantially more assists than I thought he was going to. And if I get week 1 against Bournemouth, I'm going to take it. No knock on Bournemouth. I pretty much slagged them off for the first 3 Liverpool players I've mentioned, saying I don't really see him having much of a chance. To me, it's apples and oranges between Liverpool and Bournemouth. And if I can take a game this weekend, on the first game week, that I think I'm pretty confident on who's going to win it, it's probably that one. There's been a lot of other matches, like Chelsea versus Crystal Palace that I'm happy with. But I just can't quite do it just yet. Speaking of which, I kind of can, because I've got Joao Pedro staying up top. I think he's going to win the Golden Boot. And I mean that it's not blue delusion or everything. It's not just me being a Chelsea fan and gunning into my striker being a 25-goal-a-year striker. I think he's got everything it takes. I think he's Premier League proven. I think he's shown that in the last couple of seasons. He just needs to keep his temper down. Don't get those reds. Don't get those bookings. And we should be in for a treat. Him and Liam Delap really going to be battling out for the striker position. So maybe if for some reason he goes under the radar or stops scoring, and then Liam Delap comes on, maybe that's a straight swap for them. I do believe Liam Delap's a little bit cheaper as well, but for the minute, I'm going to go with Joao Pedro. If I can have him against Palace, that's another result I'm pretty confident of. And to be honest, with the way that he plays football and the form he's in, 5 in 5, I'll be taking Joao Pedro every single day of the week. I don't think he's been picked enough, even though he's one of the higher picked strikers. I genuinely don't think he's been picked enough. And I think Haaland is too overrated. I'm a football purist. I will never put Haaland in my FPL unless I'm right at the bottom. Then I might consider it. The final one. 2 weeks ago, I would have shot myself for this one. But I'm taking Jarrod Bowen. I mean, as much as I like Sunderland, I pegged them to stay up. I pegged them to do pretty well. I think that this is just a hard game straight off rip. I think Jarrod Bowen is prone to playing against this sort of calibre of fullbacks and having good games, and I think that he's going to do just that. I think Jarrod Bowen has got the ability to beat a man. He's one of the only players that have really not impressed me, because I can't say I've watched loads of West Ham, particularly in pre-season, but he's one of the only players that I look at in that West Ham squad, and I think he's got a good chance racking up some points. And as a sort of differential, as a little price fixer, I really like him in there. And then we'll go to my bench. I spoke about him very briefly at the beginning, but Petrovic, I think it's a long-term idea. I think Bournemouth, when you look at their side, any players that are going to be particularly interesting over the season, Petrovic is the one that sticks out on paper. And I saw a lot of Georgi Petrovic last season. And I'm very happy to see him as a starting goalkeeper this year in the Premier League. I think he deserves it. I think he deserved to do it at Chelsea, to be fair, particularly when you compare him to Robert Sanchez. But I think that Bournemouth, they're known for being pretty hard to play against. So I can imagine Georgi Petrovic is going to have a great season, and there'll be plenty of clean sheets in there. And at that £4.5–4 million budget, I'm taking every day of the week. I know it's in and around what most goalkeepers are, but between him, Leno and Sells, I think you've got to have one of those 3 goalkeepers if you're trying to take the FPL seriously, particularly with Kelleher being out for the first couple of games of the season, potentially. Nico Williams is my defensive option on the bench. I think that if you have to pick between him and Ola Reina, I think you're getting similar returns, if not better defensive returns on Nico Williams. And with DEFCON being a thing this season, I think that it's a better shout. Substantially cheaper, substantially less picked. And where Ola Reina might break the line and get some goals, I think it's a little bit of a trap this early on. Brentford's a good game for him to go and do it. Yeah, but I just kind of prefer my other defenders. And to be honest, week 1, I think it's a bit of a cardinal sin playing for 5 at the back. What the fuck am I doing? Playing for the Ultimate Team, you ain't mine. Then I've got 2 more midfielders left. Esteval, that is one that I am big time future-proofing. I do not expect this guy to be playing. I do not even expect this guy to get subbed on, to be totally honest. He might, listen, this could come back to bite me in the arse to get subbed on and scores a brace. But I'm pretty confident in saying I don't think this guy's going to start. I also don't understand why he's a midfielder. He looks like he plays off the wing and then cuts inside, a very aggressive player. We've seen his first 2 games for Chelsea. We've seen him bag. We've seen him win a penalty. They're 2 things that will get you some points in FPL. And I am happy with having him in my squad. But I think it's just a pinch too early right now. I think that I'd rather have a guaranteed starter in Elliot Anderson in there over a player like Esteval Willian. Now, the last one is a little bit of a mistake for myself because 2 weeks ago I said I had Ashley Young. He plays for Ipswich. I've actually got his son, I do believe, Caden Young. I can't say I know too much about him, so I'm not going to sit here and pretend, but I know that he's supposed to be getting game time, which is why I've kept him in my squad, and at 0.7% on the ownership, I'll bloody take it. When I look at these players, you know, players like Elliot Anderson, at 7.2% ownership, it's a fantastic differential. Backline might be a bit bait, but Maxime de Kuipers, 6.9. Everyone else kind of in a bit more of a higher strand. But even like players like Florian Wirtz and Mo Salah, I just think that at the price, I think there's a reason for it. You know, I really do think that these players are going to have a fantastic season. Hugo Ekitike, once again, I do believe he's only got 13.4%. I think he's got to be nailed on to be bagging a shit ton of goals this season. I'm surprised Bowen's as picked as he is, to be totally honest. But yeah, Bird Leno, I think, is a really good differential as well. 1.7% ownership. You know, first couple of games of the season, Brighton and Hove, potential clean sheet in there. Man United, potential clean sheet in there. Chelsea, I doubt it. Leeds probably will get a clean sheet in that one. Brentford, I don't know where they're going to get their goals from this season, so I can see a clean sheet in that one. I think it's a relatively good run. And in the weeks that you don't like it, we've got Petrovic for Bournemouth, who it's just decided to freeze now, but I'm pretty sure in and around that time when Leno's going to have that Chelsea game, Petrovic will have a relatively good game to get a clean sheet. So hopefully, wishing on a prayer, my plan's going to come true. But that is your final little run through of my team. Couple of picks I'll make for you before we get into the first game week. Let's have it. Don't forget to join the Two Blues League. I'll put the link in the description at the bottom and join it. Don't be a square. Don't be a lame. I'm Charms. Let's have it.